Happy Free Enterprise Friday. This is Rexol. I am joined by Rowdy Roddy Sniper, and we are bringing to you your community race night tonight. How are you doing, Rowdy?
Doing well, Rex. Getting ready for another exciting race here on our community race.
We've got Ninja Dave doing the tracking force tonight, Antidel doing the switches in the background, and we have quite an interesting flag set tonight. What can you tell us about this?
Well, as we get ready for the looming release of 5.0, we are going to dip back into Free Enterprise's history here with the return of the FuSoYa in Wario Land flag set. This is a throwback to the ladder that used to run a few years ago, and taking on the approach that you know we don't let FuSoYa into many of our tournament races because he's so powerful, and then when we do, he doesn't have all his spells up front, he has to earn them, and what happens if we just let him run at his full power right up front and go treasure hunting? And so we have a vanilla Fu about ready to unleash havoc onto this seed with lots of good loot, and we are going to be going after our K main checks here and going after our monster boxes. And yeah, expect to see a lot of quakes and nukes very early on.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like most of us, especially that follow along with the Free Enterprise channel and watch the races that go on a regular basis, the tournaments. Normally, you're seeing Fu come online like, okay, cool, we'll take bosses so we can go ahead and level them up. Starting out with 1,900 hit points and your full spell set, that's got to change the starting behavior of the runners, doesn't it?
It does. Not only that, FuSoYa starts off with a sorcerer's robe, so very good defensive gear to start off with. Has 20 agility as well, which is much faster than most anything on the overworld. So um, you've got a strong amount of power up front, and then plenty of opportunities for the rest of the party to catch up and fully support him as we go through the rest of these objectives.
So with the key items now, we'll look at the objectives here. We've got the forge, which is forging the legend sword and the adamant rock. We've got trading away the pink tail, which is going to require death hook as well. Unlocking the pass door with the pass, and that's going to be found anywhere a key item exists because the P key flag is on. And then you've got complete cave Magnus. So I'm guessing that whether you want to or not, you're going to be picking up, like was mentioned in chat here, probably 15 or 16 key items more than likely, right?
More than likely, with with the items we have, this is usually a high completion seed. Um, Also, don't be surprised if we see some of the lunar subterranean monster boxes, because unlike other flag sets recently where they have limited the monster boxes to certain areas, they can be in any monster box. So Poison Treasury and Sylph Cave, Lunar Subterrane, Warrior Chest and Feymarch, anywhere that there's a monster box, you can find something good.
All right, and we are underway with Cubs Rule 21 and Matic. We have FuSoYa coming into Baron Castle to meet up with Yang. And at Baron 1, we will have the sisters.
Yep, the Eno XP flag is on, if I remember correctly, so
It is.
that Siren not going to help the party out too much, but again, FuSoYa able to take out these early monster boxes early. Getting experience isn't going to be too much of a problem, and you're going to be checking those monster boxes anyway, so you're not going to miss that grind.
So who actually improves your party offhand? I mean, Yang's not going to be much of an improvement. I mean, obviously Cecil's going to improve your party once you get to Ordeals, but is there anybody you're hoping to get right off the bat that kind of even helps out your party more than it already has with a fully loaded Fu?
Uh, you know, it, it depends. I mean, obviously, Edge is a strong character up front. He's the only character that's going to be faster than FuSoYa to start off with, but you're going to be relying on, you can see, as you see both these runners getting their spell lists in order so that they can menu faster. If you're not going to be swinging with anybody right now, they're just there to soak up experience and get stronger. As we do have our first divergence here, Cubs heading into Emlyn Castle, and Matic going to Antlion Cave.
Yep, so we're gonna have key item checks of different variety here. There's a Mura sword. Speaking of edge, Mura sword there in Elven Castle.
And Angelo pointing out another possibility is if you get a slower character like Riddy or Porum, you can use them as an anchor to make sure that FuSoYa can you can make sure you can get RA1 agility with FuSoYa to make the boxes a little bit faster.
There's an easy boss there at Antlion Cave. Most of them are going to be easy with FuSoYa fully loaded, but yeah, seeing the King and Queen of Evelyn is pretty easy quick there with the Baron Key coming out of that, and the Crystal Sword coming out of the Staleman and Skull's chest on Cub's side.
Yeah, the treasures are wildish. There is no limit on the tiers like there are in other flag sets, so you can get something. You can get that very upfront, and yeah. To your question earlier, I'm hoping to see that Cecil early because we want him to be ready to go right away.
All right, so here comes a Hobbs check on Maddox's side. We're going to see the guy in a sparkle. That crystal sword will come in handy once Maddox finds it. Ooh, an oak rope.
Yep, good to see this boss nice and early because, yeah, one virus and it's gone.
Just delete. Thanks, but no thanks. There's a tiara. That'll be nice a little bit later on, depending on who we get in our party. As we're looking at the second monster box on Cub's side, the Black Cat Lamia fight.
There's that defense as well coming into play as well. Not only does he have the 1900 experience, but avoiding most of the attacks from those black cats, makes it just very safe, very easy to go do these checks right away and gain the pan for their troubles.
Yeah, that's our first key item out of a monster box. And we'll definitely check this last one off to the right, which will be our Mad Ogres. As Matic is going up ordeals. Just got the guy, let's make the guy more powerful.
And the K no free item flag is on, so do have to be looking out for that Mist Dragon, so not the worst to go ahead and get that. And yeah, Tower Key on Cubs' side.
Asura at Ordeals 1. Again, another one we'll just go cut right through real quickly. There's a nuke. Thanks for your time. Appreciate you showing up. So everybody said hi.
Yeah, that spell list is just,
You can see why the free enterprise community usually doesn't allow this to happen.
Exactly. It's just one of those cases where, early game is just brain off, press nuke or quake and call it good.
You'll see Cubs going down the Antlion Cave to pick up that Baron Key from King and Queen of Dublin. In the meantime, Vigan is showing up at Ordeals 2. Quake, first time we didn't see this just wipe someone off the face of the planet. A little bit more hit points now. Arms coming back.
Yep. Matic wisely waiting to have the arms fully respawn before using another quake to avoid them coming in while the spell was cast, and as a result, which would only had it target the Vigan body. So very heads up play to avoid having to do the cleanup duty afterwards.
Cubs trying to find the runway here over by Troya. Found it.
Yeah, that is a tight landing spot. That is a tight landing spot, even when you're somewhat used to it.
There's the
package. I don't know how quickly Maddox's going to be going to check that, because,
You kind of have who you need already. I mean,
yeah.
you have two guys. That's all you need.
And you got a lot of character checks ahead of you, so, yeah.
Yep. Mylon and Friends. Not your favorite fight here, because this does last a little bit longer than you really wanted to. Just kidding.
I was going to say, in most cases, yes, that is correct. But even getting enough damage off that quake to avoid the my body speech at the end from Mylon.
Flame Dog check on Cub's side, and Earth Crystal Ball. While you're there, just keep walking. Just keep
Yeah,
walking.
no, we'll get that treasury later.
Yeah, we'll just keep walking.
That is
spicy, because if you don't do what that is what the what are the veterans call that? The Rex Banner check.
yeah, not necessarily going to be going for that, especially well, we know now is that unless it's that Baron in or behind that Baron key, Magma key may just put direct Matic up to that area.
Yeah, because this is a K unsafe flag set, which means we don't necessarily have to go underground first. We may get the Darkness Crystal first. So the K unsafe flag doesn't require you to go underground first. You may have to get your access. So Antline is Zot 1.
But let's be honest. Even with this flag set, I'm going to be checking Flame Dog before I go to the moon with a relatively low level party.
100%. Mac's going to be quite pleased when he picks up this crystal sword in a moment. In the meantime, Yang's just going to take a nap for a while. FuSoYa's like, let the old guy work. We might need some MP here soon, though. Can you use Sight on Antline?
I should be able to. It works on bosses.
Is there a stipulation where they don't actually have magic, where you can steal magic points, though?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, I don't know all the details of the psych spell, so we'll need some help from chat on that as far as how that's going to work with some of those melee only spots.
Antline going out pretty easy. Black Cat Limea going down on Maddox's side. That's going to be your pan. Quick safety save on Cub's side.
Yeah, still have Wyvern outstanding.
There's your Demist.
Well, we know that's going to be in Dwarf Castle.
Yep.
And speaking of anchoring solutions, Tella is waiting for us at the trader spot, and we'll see who is the hostage here. It is Porum.
Yep. The white mage variety of the twins.
Meanwhile, we take our eyes off Maddox's screen for just a few seconds and already finishing up the last of the Evelyn Castle boxes, though we do have a stone cast mist. There we go.
That isn't a guaranteed hit, even in the middle spot. Pressuring when it doesn't hit, as we see the elements go down in a hurry there at Zot 2. Not very difficult at all.
Yeah, FuSoYa's nuke there, more than enough to clear the HP total for the first half of that fight. Sorry, I didn't realize that Matic had done the right tower first over the left tower.
Yeah, which is interesting, because normally you go right tower last when you know where the monster boxes are, because going out of the right tower spits you back out onto the mainland. You usually use that when you have non-vanilla random monster boxes to get a free save there. A little safety save, but
May have been trying to save a little bit of time here and decide that, hey, if I get the magma key on this right tower or the hook, I'll just skip the left tower and hope it's nothing.
Yeah,
Um,
true.
It was not a key item, but one that Matic will be very happy to have as well.
Evil Wall. And your Baron in one spot, as we see Rydia hanging out there.
Yeah, we've both these runners have gone on their own journeys, and now they've converged back here on Baron Inn together. Other than that, starting to run low on options here.
And our runners have converged here at the end. A little pub talk. Pretty easy boss there for Baron 2 as well. Get the officers and soldiers out of the way.
And not our answer here. So still looking for the next part of this, the next piece of this puzzle.
Got the Fabul check left, yeah. We haven't seen that yet. What did we get from Zod? I was not paying attention.
I missed that as well. I was looking over at Matic's screen and
Got the magma
Cubs
key?
went through it so quickly.
It's the magma key.
Oh, I did not see that lit up. Thank you to our tracker, Ingy Dave, for getting that up, because I was Dragon
bouncing
doing
back
their
and forth
job
with-
and commentary just going la la la.
Well, I kind of deduced that as soon as we saw the I saw the magma key lit up on Cub's side, but like I wanted to verify before I made any assumptions. We're going to see what's in the weapon and item shop on the Baron side of things. Charm Rod, Change Rod. There's a Karate Black Belt and Sork Robes.
That is a very good armor shop.
Yeah, these are standard shops.
I believe so, yes.
Cubs is going to wave nonchalantly at the save spot on the way to Baron Castle and saying, nah, it's okay. We can take the sisters just fine. We've got what we need. Matic just a few steps behind. Matic does choose to save though. So when you're running, when do you decide to skip the save and when do you take the save? Do you have a mode of thought on that, or is that just a feeling thing as you're running?
Usually I get more prone to skipping saving as the seed goes on, and I've got more confidence in my ability to take the fight. I also depends on if I've seen some of the bosses that can trip you up very quickly, regardless of power, like Ogopogo, Wyvern, or Golbez. That way I can just say, it's just a matter of the confidence of being able to take that spot first try rather than getting surprised and having a much longer walk back.
Gotcha. Well, there is the Baron guards hanging out there on the throne instead of guarding the place. Quite nice of them. Literally guarding the throne.
Yeah, the coup of Baron has been taken care of.
The calls are coming from inside the house. Cubs gets through it. Matic is loading it up now. And we have another Rydia. The no dupes flag is not on, so we could have had a party full of Rydias if we wanted to. One's enough, thank you.
For the time being, runners may go back if they do need a anchor for setting up that agility later on. Make that second Rydia is a perfect anchor.
Yeah, the see by flag is not on, which means you can go back to the Tower of Wishes in Mysidia and pick up any character you did not choose to take with you, or ones that you have sent off later, and they will retain whatever level they were at when they were sent away. There's an Excal sword. It's a good dart for now. Not going to be replaced with the crystal sword.
Yeah, most seeds would have been very happy to get that early on, but we've got a crystal sword. We're doing even better.
And this is just a Demus check, right? Cups here, because case summon is not on.
No, I think this might just be a case of getting if they go in the basement. Yeah, this is just a case of being on a little bit of autopilot here and going for the summon because we did see the demist at Zot.
We did.
So Cubs knows where it's at, and I think just a case of old habits.
Well, I mean, yeah, because at that point in time, I think you would have at least seen who the Sparkle was. Yeah, Demist is that dwarf too. We do know that. Some camping gear there in Fabul. Cubs is finally going to go up to Hobbs here. He's going to find the guy.
Yeah, we'll still need to go to Mount Ordeals to get Cecil powered up and promoted to the Paladin class, but with that crystal sword in hand, we'll probably incentivize that check.
Yeah, that'll probably be the next move, I would imagine. And we get our first look at the Fabul defense. As the gentleman comes running across the top there and says, "Oh no, look out, it's dolls!"
Seen a lot of our relatively easy bosses on this overworld so far, with both sets of guards, King Queen Evelyn and the Calbrenna dolls already off the table. But we've also seen some of our less pleasant bosses like Antlion and
Ogopogo.
Ogopogo. Thank you. That was exactly the one I was searching for.
Yeah, I figured it was. I thought I'd help you out there. As we see Cubs definitely saying, "Yeah, I've got the guy now. Let's go ahead and make him a paladin." Matic, quick work of the dolls. I'm going to be disappointed this is not the magma key.
Yeah, but this will lead Matic over to the Tower of Zot.
Ooh, that's not a bad consolation prize.
No, because one thing about FuSoYa is that as the game goes on, his stats drop off to a degree compared to Palom, Porom, Rosa, and Rydia. So that Bahamut will start to become the answer as far as some of our AoE damage ahead of FuSoYa's Quake.
I think Matic has 2 Rydias in his party, so he gets to choose which one gets to be the Blarga caster and which one says, "I just feel a little kid."
Yeah, Matic did not have a full party because he hadn't done Tower of Zot yet, so
which we're about to see now.
Kind of had to take the second Rydia.
Down goes Bigan and Ordeals 2 for Cubs, as Matic is going to run into the Flame Dog check and be handsomely rewarded for making this check. Now, I did not see, Cubs did not, obviously when you do Tower of Zot, it spits you back out at Baron. When do you go check the treasury, or do you, because you have, Cecil already has a crystal sword, there's really no incentive to do so, is there?
Only reason I can think of is, if I remember correctly, adamant armors are on in this flag set, correct?
It is, yes.
So you might want to take it in case you do get an adamant armor with that. Since the tier rewards aren't limited, there is a small chance of an adamant armor. But yeah, not anything that'll be a priority. Probably something you can maybe check if you get a twin harp relatively soon here, but it's not going to be a major priority because you're going to be checking monster boxes as you go, so you're going to get a lot of that top end gear anyway. So, not quite, not a major priority.
Understood. And Cubs now has a paladin in his party, as Matic will see Antlion there at Zot 1.
Yeah, Annabelle in chat pointing out, you're likely going to get an adamant armor from at least one of these monster boxes as you go, so not necessarily worth going out of your way for the treasury at this point in time.
Alright, so Cubs now has a paladin. Or going underground, because that's pretty much the only thing left, right? Well, Cubs hasn't done Fabul yet. But I don't think you're going to go ahead and go Fabul. You're going to try to single dip that, are you not?
Yeah, but the pan in hand single dipping makes a lot of sense, because then you can just pair it with with both Sheila checks, so save a little bit of running around the overworld. It worked for Matic because Matic. It worked for Matic as far as his routing because he had to go to Toroya anyway, so Fabul was on the way. But yeah, Cubs had that. Cubs has the ability to just kind of wait for the single dip.
Alright, so your Cubs, you're going underground. You got the tower key in hand. You know you've got 7 monster boxes in Sylph Cave. You know you've got the one in Feymarch Cave. How are you running this?
With the tower key, I'm probably going straight to lower Babel. With the 4 sirens are relatively easy to take out. Tower key is pretty easy. The only thing that's relatively tricky is that is the boss this boss spot at the top where Dr. Lugay normally is, but FuSoYa, Crystal Sword, Cecil, I'm not too worried about much of anything at this point in time.
Is D-Mist at Dwarf 2 changing that plan at all?
Not really. Even with the warp glitch on, I would probably just take the monster box, the monster box, because that is more density at the moment than even that. But Dwarf Castle is a little bit more attractive than normal because of that D-Mist knowledge, as well as the fact that they can warp in and take the item from the sealed cave.
Alright, so we see Cubs has opened up the mountain and will head underground as Matic takes out the elements at the top of Zot and will receive that magma key. Cubs taking that D-Mist knowledge. Oh, actually, we're just going to look at the shops real quick. We'll see if we actually go in and take the fights. Assassin Dagger there. Ninja Shirt. No ninja in your party. Another ninja shirt. That one's for free.
Yeah, I think Cubs might be looking for that curse ring for sale to help with that agility anchoring going forward.
And then Ninja Dave also about mentioning in chat maybe arrows to back row Cecil.
Yeah, we have not of all the looting we've done, we have not seen anything to allow for that yet.
That could be not fun. If that ends up being the gauntlet there at Dwarf 1, it's just annoying. It's not difficult, it's annoying at this point in time.
Nope, just the Water Hag.
Water Hag and D-Mist would be nice, but yeah, that... I mean, you'd rather see the gauntlet here than say at the... maybe... Yeah, I guess, who would you not want to see? Where would you not want to see a gauntlet that's going to be a required check now?
I mean, obviously, anytime you've got the lunar subterranean gauntlets, those are a challenge, particularly the ones at the Masamune and the Crystal Sword Altar.
Yeah, but you aren't taking those because they aren't key item checks, are you?
That's right. Then yeah, no, I'm really not too worried about any of these any of the gauntlets here at the even in the underground.
Right. All right, so it is Water Hag though. That's the 3 swings and you're done. Matic finishing up the drop of the magma key. So we'll see what Rydia picks up here in terms of spells. We will get the glowing hand, which will be fun. Oh, that's an edge. That's a pickup. That's a party member. Yeah, I think we let go of the other martial artist. Pick up that one instead. I think I saw Asura and Sylph. I don't think I saw Bahamut in that list of spells. Because Cubs,
Yeah, I
again, have
like.
not done Fabul yet.
Yeah, that I think Cubs had already taken the Rydia out of their
Yep.
party, so not even it. I don't think that that's going to be enough to change Cubs' mind, especially with this setup right now. Do like the trade of Edge for Yang. We've seen some good swords already, so going to be doing more damage up front than Yang will be for a little while still.
And we see Matic taking out the non-Bahamut Rydia as a anchor here. There's our pass. That is that's a required item.
Yep, this is 4 out of... the runners will have to do 4 out of 4 objectives here. There are no alternate paths, so any of those key items that might be hidden somewhere kind of loom large here. Cubs is doing the warp glitch here. After you defeat the Dwarf Castle bosses, you can warp into the sealed cave crystal room and steal the item without having to do the full check.
There's a power shirt in the second alert.
Always nice to have for any of our melee attackers, particularly that Cecil right now.
There's our hook to go with that rat tail.
Yeah, very convenient. Be curious to see what Cubs does here. Has the pan, has a few other options, is healing up, which suggests probably lower Babel, because otherwise the Sylph Cave and the Fey March.
Yeah, that was a curse string in that one. These alerts, given some serious loot. Power shirt, a pass, and a curse string thus far.
Yeah, Cubs making a liar out of me and going ahead and running through the magma tiles here.
There's a ninja sword.
But very nice pickup there.
And a twin heart.
Ooh.
4 for 4 here. 4 for 4.
We got two required items.
A power shirt and a curse ring.
Yeah, 2 very useful items and 2 required items. This is definitely going to be a major decision here, because if Cubs decides to put this off for any reason, that starts to put them a little bit further behind Matic here potentially.
There's some arrows finally in the Fey March case. We come out with back row Cecil to go along with that crystal armor we just picked up. This is D Lunars at the top of. Are we at the top?
Nope, that was the tower. I think Matic did the tower room first.
Gotcha.
Which is definitely the preferable option.
Yeah, you don't want to talk to me about D-Lunars. We've gone down the road too many times.
Though, Nuke and Crystal Sword Cecil kind of make that headache a little bit more manageable.
Alright, so Fu decides he's going to attack the front warrior there. It's a bold move. God, let's see if it pays off for him. Pretty sure he went to do Quake instead. Matic with the save at the top of the tower. Down goes Porum. Edge hanging on for dear life. Here comes the Quake.
I think that played into Cubs' plans, because seems to be trying to keep Porum down as much as possible for a slingshot later.
Another X-Cal. It's another dart for Sir Edge.
Another dart, potentially something to sell to get some better loot down the road.
That's Karate at top of tower. That's Val on the hook route, which we don't have to do.
Yeah, I'm happy to see both these bosses here, because Yang will go through the ouch script if Cecil hits him right around his second kick, and anytime you can get Valis out of your way, very nice.
Fey March freebie was just an hourglass 2. I say just an hourglass 2, but that could come in handy at one point in time. But it is not a key item as you would like to see there.
Yeah, definitely would buy either of these runners some time dealing with some of the lunar subterranean boxes that are vulnerable to it, but most of the time for these has kind of passed.
Alright, so we have 3 on the ground. And we're just going to kill them outright. Float coming up on Cub's side.
Yep, gonna hit the Toad Lady chest here on the way down to the Pan Bonk.
Float does not carry between rooms, though. Put it back on.
Unfortunately.
A little bit preemptive on that.
I will be curious to see if Cubs decides to go back in after the Pan Bonk and does the Poison Treasury to save the time of going back and forth. As Matic making his way outside of the lower battle, gonna find out what destroying the super cannon provides.
Grimoire swing and miss with Shiva. On Cub's side, we've got a bunch of froggers hanging out now at this point in time. This has gone from an easy pick off here to just annoying at this point in time, as this boss can be, or this fight should be, I should say. And the cannon room will produce the Darkness Crystal.
So lower Babel with quite a bit here, opening up the rest of our monster boxes outside of Sylph Cave. Be curious to see where Matic goes with this, because that is potentially, there's a lot of experience, there's a lot of possibilities there. Has 2 in hand, but we still are missing both halves of the forge and, in Matic's case, the hook and the pigtail.
Zamura sword from the Toad Lady. Fight. Ether 2, because K-Summon is not on. It's just going to be an item from the Sylph.
So Cubs is going back up to Fabul to turn in the pan to Sheila, as well as I can get both those checks, and also check that D-miss from completing Dwarf Castle.
I mean, do you check the package character while you're right here, or is it pointless?
Nah, I think I'm pretty happy if I'm either of these runners with my party. You've got potential for a reflect strat party, or just a hybrid strat with Crystal Sword Cecil helping out with the nukes. You've got a very strong melee party on Cubs' side. I'm not too worried about getting another character here at this point.
Alright, so that's Power Shirt from Rydia's mother.
Okay, Matic damaging down, signaling likely a Twin Harp check after this.
And that is important. Why?
Well, because Twin Harp, the dark, at Cave Magnus, we still have the runners go through the cutscene with the Dark Elf. So the weaker the party is, the easier it'll be for the Dark Elf to defeat the party and speed up the cutscene, so we don't have to go through the whole thing. Another way you can do that is making sure that all the party members are equipped with metallic gear, so they're just paralyzed and the cutscene ends right away, but we haven't seen that many tiaras and iron rings for the party.
We're going to do our Sheila check first. The Cubs had not done Fabul proper, so we're taking that out first. Meantime, Sheila won. Going to be an Avenger. And a Sork Robe.
So, nothing really game-breaking from Sheila. The Avenger's nice, but
Avenger Crystal Sword could be good, but other than that, it's not like you said, game-breaking. It hasn't turned the tide of anything
Right, you've got sources of berserk, so you don't need so it's not going to be a way to mitigate that. You've got power shirt, so you're not going to want to leave the crystal armor on Cecil. So yeah, no, it's very nice to have. Like you said, you can still use the Avenger glitch to get through some of the harder fight, some of the lunar boxes, but it's not quite the huge game huge item it is at other times.
It's like a nice dress shirt for Christmas. It's
Pretty
nice to have in
much.
the closet in case needed, but it's not something we're looking forward to getting.
Exactly.
Cubs is going to raise the hovercraft to start using that hook and pick out turn the rat tail more than likely. As Matic
Yep.
is going to go play us some music, as this
Yeah.
is a required check.
Yep. And Matic going by the old axiom: do your objectives, do your freebies. Definitely gonna do the objective and hope that one of these items that are outstanding are there. Cubs, I do like this as well. You've got the hook, you've got the rat tail, turn it in. Um, Maybe we'll go check the monster boxes on the hook route as well.
Alright, so rat tail being turned in on Cubs side. For your troubles, here's Adamant Rock. Okay, that's a good turn in.
Yep, half of an objective. And we can see there that FuSoYa didn't have anything metallic, so all he had to do was just hit himself with a little bit of a quick spell and was taken care of. And now we will take a break here and turn things over to DJ Spoony B, playing all the hits for you wherever you may be, as we get our randomized harp song.
And that's something you don't see every day. We're just going to take out Cecil outright. We're not going to play the script.
This is a case where it's definitely faster. And Matic proving why we say do your objectives, getting the pink tail, and we'll still
That's
need to get
3 of
that hook
4.
from Dwarf Castle.
Yeah. So if
But
your
as was
Cubs, you
pointed
already
out
just
earlier in chat, that is an adamant armor in the bank, so we'll get an adamant armor guaranteed from that turn-in.
So we have a Palom here if we want him. I don't think we want to pick him up, though. But we are this deep. We're going to go ahead and pick up that Mad Ogre chest, right? You're already here.
Yeah, you're here, you might as well. It's not that far to walk back out. So, between the two runners, we are now looking for the Legend Sword exclusively, because Matic will get the hook and hopefully the rat tail if he goes ahead and does the warp glitch to steal that. Uh, Cubs will need to go into Lower Babel to get the twin harp and get the pink tail from that. So we're just kind of wondering. We're going to be looking for that one item.
Yeah, we've got the entire Poison Treasury. We've got all the boxes in LST. So there are plenty of places left.
Yeah, it's looking for the holy sword in a haystack, as it were.
There's a Sand Ruby. Not the This is not the key item you were looking for.
No, unfortunately. Again, there is a character check here, so it's not quite the sad rupee, but I really feel like both these runners are probably pretty happy with their parties, so I would be very surprised to see them check that.
Right, and Cubs did do some warps and some exits to get out, and my guess is we're going towards that tower now, right? Looking at our HP. Maybe we're going to go fill up real quick.
Yeah, I don't recall if either of these runners have seen tents or cabins anywhere for sale. So
We saw tents at one point in time. I don't remember where those were located, but we have not seen cabins yet.
So yeah,
we did
Cubs
get, I think,
taking
10 at the beginning.
Okay, so especially to try and keep that HP total high, or that MP total high, I should say, for FuSoYa. Particularly if you're going to be doing the Poison Treasure like Cubs, you're going to want as many casts of Quake in the bank as possible, so...
So Cubs still fading that tower, which we know is absolutely loaded with stuff you need.
Yeah, 2 key items, the Pass and the Twin Harp, that are needed for objectives, as well as some very good equipment as well that will make the later game very much more manageable. Do you believe that since the Darkness Crystal was the tower key, though, correct?
Yes.
So Cubs will pretty much end up there anyway, because we don't have any other key items of it. There are no gating key items at this point that Cubs is looking for, so is going to end up there after this Poison Treasury.
Now the downside is we're looking at 6 checks. Now these will be relatively, I don't say quick checks, but they are 6 checks that we're going to go through. And the only thing that could be of benefit here, that we know could be there, would be the Legend Sword. Because
there's a decent chance of getting admin armors down here, so as we talked about earlier, could get another one of those as well to help make put on either Edge or FuSoYa or even Porum.
Yeah, Antidel pointing out that not having the curse ring for Cubs is going to make this slower. The agility difference by putting the curse ring on your middle character, speeding your party up in comparison to the enemy. Now you're going to see all these fire casts come out from these ghosts.
Yeah, the ideal setup for the Sylph Cave is to twitch your battle speed down to 3, have a slow anchor in the center of the party, and then have a Quake caster ready to go in the second slot, and just that Quake should be enough to take out any of these fights in one go. And it does look like Cubs has adjusted to put the Tella there to be that slow anchor, but I don't think they changed their battle speed.
Matic, quick work of the Warriors.
Okay.
Get the X-Cal. FuSoYa saying, who needs hit points? I just have 1. That's all I need. There's your Legend Sword. That's just what we were talking about.
So, Moon's Haunted, folks. Mop out front, should have told you. But yeah, Cubs is going to finish up this Poison Treasury here, and looking for those other 2 items that are just next door in the lower tower. And Matic...
3 items next door. Because he's at the Pink Tail, the Twin Harp, and the Pass all next door, right?
No, Pink Tail... Technically, yes, because Pink Tail is through the Twin Harp, so yes, you are correct.
Yeah. Okay, okay.
Sorry, I was distracted by Matic there. I got distracted because I was watching Matic and going, okay, are you going to be going to the Lunar Subterrane, or are you going to be going to the Poison Treasury? Because both of those would be very defensible decisions.
Yep.
It would not be a wrong decision in that point as far as a gameplay perspective, but obviously
Luckily,
with the meta knowledge we have, we
this is
know
the
that
better play.
that
Yep.
would have been very bad for Matic.
Yeah, this is definitely the better play.
Yeah, and I do want to point out in chat that, and as Anadale pointing out, Tella isn't quite slow enough for Fu at his base agility to be RA1. Tella with either 8 or 9 agility at this point in time isn't going to hit that 2.5% with FuSoYa's 20 agility. And I don't think we've seen any crystal rings or ninja hats to help speed him up at all.
All right, and for those that aren't mathletes in our audience, can we give the Cliff Notes or the layman's version of what you just said?
So to try and make sure that the party is what is relative agility, known as relative agility 1, the target number, as I understand, is 2.5 times the anchor's agility. That will set the party up where you will have that nice consistent turn order where the top, it'll go from slot 2, which is the very top slot that Matic has FuSoYa in, 3 where Cecil is, and then down through Porum and Edge for 4 and 5, with Rydia being the anchor here.
So Tella being 9, 2.5 would be roughly 23. So because FuSoYa is only 20, he's not 2.5 times Tella, which means he would not get the full benefit of Tella being the anchor.
Correct. Doesn't quite hit that threshold to set the numbers where they need to be.
As we see a bunch of bodies lined on the floor from Matic, we're just slogging through this at this point in time, which brings me to my next question. We still have a big baddie at the end of this seed we have to defeat. Are we just going to keep cleaning house with the Myabs in LST? Where are we getting our experience now? Because no XP flag is on, so we can't do our sirens. We can't do any sort of shenanigans with Mac Giants or anything like that, or D machines. Are we doing straight bosses, or are we going ahead and doing monster boxes?
I would say that you would likely see probably take 1 or 2 chests on the way down, though. With obviously the pass being an objective, that makes that a little bit more awkward. I think it's going to depend where these runners end up after these last checks here. The Poison Treasury does have a good amount of experience. There is that Legend Sword for Matic, so Matic is in almost go mode. You're gonna have Adamant, Crystal Sword, Avenger, Cecil. That's gonna cut the need for a grind by quite a bit. As the pass on Cubs' side.
Do you maybe just take the Fame Arch bosses instead and call it a day?
No, the Fame Arch bosses are relatively low on experience for the trouble. They're not really worth that trouble unless you're really desperate for the experience.
Okay. Because our runners are both at 10 key items or more, which means they get double experience now. So we're just looking for the most efficient way to level our party without going completely out of our way, right?
Pretty much, and there unfortunately really isn't a great option here. If you are looking for those last few levels, I would say probably go to the moon and take a couple boxes, or at this point in time, if you're really worried about it. Not sure where Matic and Cubs are as far as their party overall. I saw they were in the mid-30s.
Which that begs the question, and Anthill called out in chat. You've got your Crystal Sword, Adamant Armor, Zeus Gauntlet, Cecil. You've got Nuke on Fu. Do you need to level up, or do you just go?
I would say probably no, because that Cecil's over 2,000 HP on both these runners' side. He's going to be pretty safe from big bangs. You've got Edge. You've got a spoon for Edge. You've got a couple of X-Cals to dart. He can do some pretty good damage even with just those alone. Fu can chip in. Yeah, no, I think that you're probably good overall. But if you did feel you needed more experience, I would say the Moon would be your best play there. But I think both these runners likely are going to be ready to go as soon as they get their last couple objectives here.
All right, so we're going to see Rat Tail first, which will be pleasing to the eye for Matic, because that's your other half of your forge. Then you're going to turn in your Pink Tail, which is not only objective, but is a free Adam armor.
Yep, plus 15 to all the stats, 100 physical defense, 20 magic defense, and resistant to pretty much any status effect, and and resistance for all elemental effects. It's pretty
your Harry
broken.
Potter invisibility cloak is what you're saying.
I would say more for the Dragon Quest fans. Erdrick's armor with a little bit of extra spice.
Fair enough. All right, so Matic's going to see what our. This isn't a super smith, so this is just going to be an X-Cal, correct?
I believe so. Yes.
This is just going to be another dart.
Which honestly, I want to see right now. A dart. I want to see darts right now because again, that's just another turn that edge does big time damage.
Yeah. I will check the shop. Why not for another Zeus Gauntlet? Nope. We're not even gonna bother, huh? You had the coin.
I don't think it really matters on Matic's side. You might see Cubs pick one up because that's going to be a little bit more melee skewed. But you know, again, I would say that I would expect Edge to be darting for at least the first few turns, and then Cecil has plus 30 alone from the admin armor and the crystal sword as far as strength. That extra 10 strength in the Zeus gauntlets isn't necessarily going to be worth the time to buy it.
All right, so we have an abbreviated run here because we're not even going to bother healing because Zeromus will heal you. But speaking of Zeromus, we're about to be heading to Zeromus by way of the. What did we just see a reset from Cubs?
Yeah, the top of tower was nothing.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, just caught my attention.
No, it's okay. No,
Yeah. Okay. I was like, all right. So yeah, we're taking past. We get a straight cut straight to Zeromus. So we kind of have to let the audience know about something, don't we?
Well, we gotta let them know that Matic has just completed the last objective by opening that pass door to get the crystal.
Okay, and then there's.
Got something else in mind?
I do, and I'm waiting very patiently, but I'm running out of time. So I'm just going to go for it. What do you think?
Let's go for it.
Let's just go for it. Okay. Well, this is obviously, if you've been following us for 54 minutes now and you haven't figured this out yet, it is a randomizer of Final Fantasy IV that we call Free Enterprise. We randomize the bosses, which you've seen, location of the characters, which you've seen, the key items and the treasures, but you have not seen us relocate Zeromus because he's just too strong to be any other location. So instead, we call on the wonderful graphic artists of the Free Enterprise community to randomize the sprite that we use for Zeromus. So it's become custom, tradition if you will, to ask the following question: whose butt are we kicking tonight?
And of course, all the ancillary questions. Is it cute? Does it wear a hat? Does it pay taxes? Do we have to create one or a butt in order to kick it? We will find out in just a few seconds here as Matic is queuing up the crystal on Rydia.
So Rydia, with her sole purpose of just casting this crystal, because with that 150 hit points, not long for this world. You're correct, there are 2 Zeus gauntlets in hand now for Cubs. 1 for Edge and 1 for Cecil. And Kadajmus? I'm not familiar with this particular sprite.
Nope, not one I'm familiar with as well.
I don't think this sprite's long for the world anyway, so...
No, Cecil going ahead and going with that Avenger glitch you talked about. When you change to the Avenger, or equip the Avenger in mid-battle, it doesn't lose the properties of the item that you've swapped out, but it still has applies the Berserk effect. So Unfortunate counter nuke there from Kajimus, but is setting up for a hybrid strat here of melees, darts, and reflected nukes from Fu.
Into Dave chiming in chat saying this is from Advent Children.
Okay. And Rydia did help. Rydia got a Cure 3 up to help get that Cecil back up to over 1200 HP. That will make sure that he survives this first Big Bang here, because Kajimus has been hit with an attack that triggered the counter nuke, and therefore lowered the magic attack and made that Big Bang a lot safer.
And Porn's going to live for a hot minute. Also not necessary, but we're going to go ahead and Cure 4 anyway, just so we have it.
Yeah, Fu filling 2 roles here of both getting the party, helping with the damage as well as the healing of the party, because Porum does not have Cure 4. Might even have Cure 3 at that HP.
Probably not. We got the elixir coming out in Fu, because Fu's going to run out of Kinder points pretty quickly. Caps out at 190 anyway.
Yeah, very good use of that there, especially with the fact that Fu is going to be throwing those heavy MP spells. And yes, Stony pointing out in chat, this Edge didn't even have enough levels to make the spoon hit for the full quad 9 damage, just a little bit shy there, so party lower level than you would normally try to take a Zeromus fight, but as you can see here, Cecil swing for 7,000 damage. Not too worried about it.
I'm not too worried at all. And that's it.
Yeah, as we're queuing up music on Cubs' side, but that is GG for Matic, so...
We'll go let the music play now, though, while we're waiting on Matic. Easy work there for Cubs, too.
So we were talking in the booth beforehand, expected completion time, and there is a lot of variability on these Wario seeds, and you see that here. 58 minutes on Matic's side. Cubs will not be very far behind.
Estimated at an hour. That's pretty close.
Yeah, no. Also of note, the only item we haven't found is the Luca key. So
yeah,
that means that mood is very haunted.
Well, yeah, I mean, at that point in time, you've got 10 monster boxes up there, 9 on the LST and the hair dryers. So you get 10 boxes for one item.
So fortunately, both these runners on the restream did not follow that darkness crystal when they got it. Cubs already was pretty much well in hand, so it wouldn't have mattered for their routing, but you know, Matic going ahead and going for the poison treasury, definitely making the right play there, because, you know, again, as you said, that's 10 key items behind that darkness crystal. Very defensible play to go and chase that once you get it.
Oh, absolutely. And we do have 2 other racers in this race that are not being restreamed. At that point in time, so we have Duran and Korg's also going. They're both also still current in the race. So Matic is our #1 finisher.
So yeah, definitely GG's and congrats to Matic on that. Matic will not be joining us for an interview tonight. But definitely extremely well run seed on his part.
As we see Cubs heading up to turn in the pass and get the crystal and head to fight Zeromus on his own right. Let's see if we can spot over on Maddox's side. We can figure out what his Luka key was. As we're letting Cubs do his power walk to the Zeromus battle.
Yeah. Kind of the seed to put the pass on the overworld, as opposed to make that the last key item that we had to go search for on the lunar subterrane.
Yeah, it would have been nasty to have it behind a D-mist in the package check too. That'd have been terrible.
I mean, that is one of the things on these 4 out of 4 flag sets. Ever since the ability to have X out of Y objectives has been added to the randomizer, you see that more and more because, frankly, it's more fun to have multiple paths and the flexibility to kind of say, to take different approaches as opposed to get stovepiped into having to go to certain places. But there is something to be said for having to complete all the objectives and really search for those key items and how quickly can you do as many checks as possible.
Yeah, and teaser alert, there's a new objective being added for 5.0 where the actual defeat of the package boss is an objective. Right now you have the let's burn the town down with the package, but you don't have to carry through to fight the boss and go through all the long cutscene. One of the objectives being added for 5.0 is the possibility of having to fight that boss fight.
Yes. As I mentioned earlier, we are getting ready for the new 5.0 version of the flag set. This is running off the current version of 4.6. And yeah, things like some new objectives being added, new approaches and challenges with our objectives. Luka key there. Is that the blue and red dragon, or is that the double red dragon?
Your guess is as good as mine on that. I am not well versed in those monster boxes at all.
As much as I play vanilla monster boxes with the Troy and Tango async club, which leads me to where I was heading with the where I was leading to with the new changes coming up. If you want to keep abreast on everything going on, or check out our clubs, or start racing in some of these community races, please check out our Discord. The Frame of Our Discord is a good place to get involved in racing or learning about the game, or just generally putzing around and having a good time.
Yeah, it's a wonderful community. I've only been part of it probably about 7 months now. I still consider myself quite the newbie, but it has been a wonderful community, a very accepting community. It is one of those where there's no gatekeeping in this community, which is wonderful. We're all very nostalgic about this game. We all know that it holds a special place in a lot of our hearts from when we were just young tykes. But you don't have to feel like you have to come out here and be the 58-minute racer here. It's all about enjoying yourself, learning something new every time you go out and having a good time. So definitely make sure you join the Discord, jump in, say hi, don't be shy. Also, make sure that you follow our runners. They've put on quite a show. They volunteer to be restreamed. This isn't something where we can't do this without them. So Matic and Cub saying, hey, you can show off my run. Make sure you give them a follow as well.
So, while we have been promoting the community, Cubs hanging on for dear life here with this Z fight. I think Cubs was. Oh no!
Oh no!
Okay, that is the best possible outcome.
No.
So, well, sorry for taking a few seconds to react to that there, because that was absolutely terrifying as a runner. So Cubs is a little bit lower level than Matic was, so was not hitting for as much damage on that Cecil. Was only hitting for about 5,000 versus 7,000 damage, which is pretty significant on his Zeromus fight. There we go, GG.
Oh, wow.
Ended up getting to a point where the party was pretty low HP from a big bang, and then going immediately into the final phase of Meteo. Fu fortunately had that elixir queued up on Fu, getting the full health and MP, and was able to finish off with that last reflected nuke. Wow.
We call that a wombo combo, is what we call that in the community. When you escape from the Big Bang into rocks like that, and that is not pleasant as a runner at all.
Yeah, you know, we talked a little bit about, do we want more? Do these runners want more levels? Do they want more experience? If you want to win, you go with what you have right now. Both these runners electing to do so, but you see the dangers of that approach, even with the ridiculous gear and power that they had at their disposal. This is a case where the Z fight is not free. But fortunately, Cubs getting a lucky break there with that last little finish there, with the last dodge from FuSoYa, making the most of the time in the spotlight, and getting through. So GG's to Cubs.
Yeah, it's that's obviously going to be the first question is, do you need to use a restroom break before we get started? When you get down to the 4 HP, because here's a nuanced rule for racing for free enterprise, is you have to get to the credits scene for it to count. So when your party's hit with Big Bang, a sap effect is given to your party, which means you're going to lose 2 hit points every tick that goes by. Your party can still perish even after you've killed Zeromus from that sap. So even if the time was a little bit different and Fu had gotten a nuke off, we could potentially see Cubs have to reset out and rerun the fight because of that sap effect.
Yeah, very fortunate that FuSoYa had that one last dodge of the rocks in there. 4 HP and a dream. Cubs, welcome in for an interview. GG.
GG.
That was a fight of all time, wasn't it? There was
You-
it was just the safest fight ever. There's nothing at all wrong with that fight. Perfectly executed.
Absolutely textbook. One of those fights that makes us runners
was
look
a fight
silly
of
for
all
saying
time,
anything
wasn't
can
it?
happen in the Z fight.
I had no clue if that veil was still up, by the way. On
that would have been better. That would have been better.
Yeah, that was a butt clencher. The moment I'm like, uh-oh. As soon as I queued that up, I'm like, oh no. I don't know if. Oh, thank God.
Fortunately, you did enough damage to avoid the black hole, but yeah, no, those star veils do run out the most inopportune times.
Well, thought the Cure 4 would be enough to have Cecil walk off the Big Bang. He did, but then, rocks.
Rocks. Yep. Wombo combo for the win.
Look, I had a spoon and three X-Cals. Edge wasn't swinging a blade in that fight.
Yeah, and
but then,
so you're leading right into my question for you is, at what point in time were you saying, I don't care what my party looks like, as soon as I get my fourth objective done, I'm going to the Z fight? At what point were you comfortable with that?
As soon as I started the seed, frankly.
Okay. Yeah.
You slap an adamant armor on Fu, he's quite literally unkillable in the Z fight. That is as close as it's come. I will admit that is as close as it's come. But no, he's virtually indestructible at that point. Like, if I needed to pivot to Fu and a ham sandwich, it would have been fine. I had an apple sitting in the inventory that would have made things a little less hair raising, but you know what? For the swag, it was fine.
How relieved are you that the LST boxes didn't come into play?
I'm more surprised than anything. I was honestly fine going up there. To have nothing. Well, I guess Luca key up on the moon and that's it. That's surprising. At least behind darkness, that's surprising that nothing else popped up there. I can see people getting darkness. I mean, I got darkness very late. I can see people getting darkness earlier and skipping out on Sylph and just having to clear the entire moon and feeling very sad. That is kind of mean, having both Tower and Sylph be required.
Yeah, that is almost what happened. We literally saw the wheels turn in Maddox's head as we were watching the stream, deciding whether to go Sylph Cave or go Moon. And we were holding our breath trying to figure it out of which decision was made. And luckily for Mac's case, he went down to a Sylph Cave.
So I was gonna go tower. I was hitting Sylph if I got to 10 key items, because that was gonna be enough grind for the seed for Cecil. I wasn't planning on doing pseudo melee strats, but when the seed throws a crystal sword at you a minute and a half in, I guess you just go with it. So I figured Sylph with 10 key items was really enough XP for Cecil to just run over the game. It was close.
It was very close, and the other two are still running as we speak. I have one last question for you. It's a choose your own adventure question. You have cleared Baron Castle. You are now going back into Baron Castle. You are going down to the basement. You choose to go to the basement because of A, you forgot the K-Sum's not on, B, you're checking to see who the boss is, or C, you're on complete autopilot.
That was a mix of A and C.
Okay.
I will freely admit, when I looked at the flag setter, I'm like, oh, good, a flag set I can just kind of autopilot and not have to think about. Yeah, that almost bit me in the ass.
Yeah, we literally have Anthony in the chat going, "Don't do it, Cubs! Don't do it."
I'm lucky. I just popped the bot command for the flags in my chat before the race. I'm like, hold on, wait a second.
And what surprised me is you didn't even check to see who. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter who the Sparkle was at that point in time. I'm like, you didn't check to see who the Sparkle was. You're like, oh crap, reset. So I was like, yeah, that was definitely autopilot. But
yeah, at that point, all Sparkles are allergic to microwaves, so they just kind of blow up.
Yes, they are.
You give me an elixir and a foo with a nuke, and I'm good.
Yep, it's game over. Well, that's what I've got. Roddy, what do you got for Cubs?
I think you pretty much covered it. Cubs, excellent, really run seed. You know, got the power. Got the power early on. You took full advantage of it.
Yeah. A little annoyed that Harp did turn into Pinktail. I debated skipping out on tower checks. It would have been a couple of minutes. I don't think it mattered that much in the end. It's kind of a little annoying when it works out that way. Oh well. But thank you to both of you for comms. Looking forward to watching this one back. Dave, pushing the buttons, not eating them. Congratulations. Thank you. Annadale, haven't played this one in a while. Forgot how much I like this, but my dude, don't scare me like that again on a seed. Thank you.
Have yourself a good night, Cubs.
Yeah, GG
You
Cubs.
too. Thank you.
Yep. All right. So as I mentioned, there are 4 runners in this. Durand and Course are both still running. So if you do want to check out the end of this seed on their sides, definitely go into the Twitch channels, look for Free Enterprise Racing, and go see them. In the meantime, this has been a wonderfully fun broadcast of our community race tonight, hasn't it?
Oh, it's been a good time. A little bit of very well run play by both these runners, and quite a bit of excitement there at the end on Cubs' Z fight to remind everybody just how dangerous Zeromus can be.
Yes, absolutely. So the community race night runs every Friday. So if you have not followed the Free Enterprise channel, you've been watching it for the last hour and change, what are you doing with your life? Hit that follow button. Make sure you get notified when we go live. But it is Friday night, community race night. So every Friday we're trying to feature a different flag set, give you kind of a taste of what goes on during in our club season. Again, join our Discord to run some of those flags and meet members of the community. And make sure you definitely give a shout out to our wonderful Restreamed team. Again, Anthony pressing the buttons in the background, Ninja Dave doing the tracking for you for all of those wonderful speedy checks. And Rowdy, it's been a pleasure, sir.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure calling these races with your Rex. Always a good time.
So on behalf of our Restream team and the Free Enterprise community, I want to give you all a wonderful night. Take care.